Hello. I guess it's good afternoon and good evening and good morning. As you can see today, I am actually home. It's on Saturday. It's October 4th. Yes, October 4th is the fourth day of the month. Time is going really fast. So today I didn't do anything. I just woke up. I went to check out a new place to move to because I've been talking about moving. So I had a story to tell, but this story is for another video. I don't think this is the right time to share that story. But so I checked out the price. I think the price was okay, but the price was reasonable. Am I actually moving? I'm just still thinking about it. It's not too close to the university though, and you have to take like multiple buses before you can get there, so not fun. Now I went to the gym. Of course, I did some running and some exercises. Came home, got some chicken because I need to eat chicken. I need proteins, and now I'm about to study. Now I did have friends who were supposed to study today, and they now chat to me. I'm just curious, like how students from another country who didn't study in the US, how they do things. Like you plan to meet and they don't just meet. So I don't know, but I'm gonna study by myself, and I have midterms coming up, and I'm not in the mood. I don't really feeling it because I'm tired from yesterday's events. I'm still exhausted. It was a very long day. I'm not used to going through those events, but so the midterms, which is coming up on Monday, and the research question, which is also coming up on Monday, and the homework. So I have three things on Monday that's supposed to be done by Monday, and one of the things that we're going to do in this homework is gonna be part A and part B. So part A is gonna be like answering. It's gonna be 4 questions. You only pick two. Then each question is going to be worth, I believe, 40 points. So each question 40 points. Two questions, that's 80 points, right, for two questions. And then part B is going to be 5 questions, only pick three, so 5, then only pick 3 questions. So, and then there's like part C. I don't know part B has how many. Yeah, so part B is gonna have 3 questions and 30 points per question. So each so times 3, that's going to be 90 points. That's a lot of points for a midterm. Then there's part C, and part C is going to have, it's going to be 2 questions. You only answer 1 question, so that's going to be 30 points for this question. So that's 1 plus 3, that's 4, plus 2, that's 6. So 6 questions in both part A, B, and C. And I'm gonna go through some questions that these are things I've been talking about all the time, but it's gonna be writing. So I'm gonna be writing down. There's no I don't know if this is the same thing in all master's programs, but this is gonna be like writing down, like explaining the model and the formulas and the graphs. This is macro, by the way, macroeconomics. So part A is going to be about the Sauro swamp growth model. So Sauro model is going to be coming up. defining it and how it's related to production, investments, cost of capital, and talk about the assumptions on the curve, the diminishing return of capital, diminishing return of labor, which I explained last time. Then they have a conversional, like the conditional convergence in international development. Like I talked about countries that are poor. Why can't Africa and the United States somehow converge, like because both become richer despite powering in so much investments into the African nations, like giving them money through aid, support, military, but they still don't progress, right? Because they are poor, right? That's coming up in this question. So in define conditional converging. What does conditional converging mean? I have to look up these things. What does the Sodom model predict about converging? How well does this match real world findings? So this is like explaining in your own ways of understanding it. So that's why I think he gave too many points, because in his mind I think he's thinking, okay, if James did not study, did not do anything, right? He just chill, watch Netflix. He's gonna have something to say, describe something, and whatever he does, give him like 10 points, 20 points. So this is going to be like a judge. I think this is going to be like a judgmental sort of exercise where professors are going to say, okay, James is participating in class, is doing something great, and give him some points. So the part 3 is going to be talking about the research papers. I never explained this research paper for macro. I mostly focused on microeconomics because I like the cash transfer, conditional and conditional cash transfers. I never really looked into these kind of research papers that he brought. So there's one that is called Broom, Nicholas, Charles, Jones, John Van Ryn, and Michael Webb. And the title of the paper is called Are Ideas Getting Harder to Find? American Economic Review. Now, I never read this paper, but he's giving like an abstract. So someone an idea like long run growth in many models is the product of two terms: the effective number of researchers and their research productivity. We present evidence from various industries, products, and firms showing that research effort is rising substantially while research productivity is declining sharply. A good example is Moore's Law. The number of researchers required today to achieve the famous doubling of computer chip density is more than 18 times larger than the number required in the early 1970s. More generally, everywhere we look, we find that ideas and exponential growth they imply are getting harder to find. So I got to do research paper. I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna throw into like an AI and summarize it. I don't think they have time to read this, but ideas hard to find. I don't think so. I don't agree with whatever research they have. And personally, I'm like unique. Like there are things that I do in economics that I just disagree with, but and then question 1, like macroeconomics foundations. Describe the macroeconomic foundation of the paper. What modifications to endogenous growth theory do the authors suggest and test in their papers? Data and findings. How do the authors test their hypothesis? What data or strategy do they use? At high level, what robustness checks or other controls do they provide to ensure strong results? What do they conclude based on their empirical analysis? Now, this is going to be like, it's going to be 5 questions. So I don't know. I have no idea about this paper. I never read it. I think it's stupid. Ideas are hard to find. This is like stupid economic paper that came out. So I'm not gonna read the other papers that I've read, and I think he's gonna ask those papers. Then I'm gonna have a chance to like answer based on what I studied. Like I read converges, those things. So he's gonna have like B1, B2, B3, and B4, and B5. So out of 5 paper, I'm going to choose 3 of them and then answer those 3, assuming that I would be able to know those other 2. Assuming that those 3 are going to be the one that I know, and the other 2 are the ones that I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna just read about papers that he gave us, gave him some ideas. When you understand something, it's easy to answer. If you like something, it's easy to answer, especially in macroeconomics. If you don't know something and you don't understand it, you're not gonna answer. Like, it's gonna be really hard. So failing versus passing in this kind of situation, it is debatable. Like, we have people in our classrooms who just don't believe in things like wealthy. They don't believe in like people getting rich. They believe in something like welfare system. Some people, like people are from another country, they believe in the idea of giving welfare. They believe in the idea of a USID, which USID was destroyed. So those people are probably not gonna pass. They're not gonna like this kind of questions. And then part C is empirical strategy and review of empirical practice assignments. And there's gonna be 1 out of 2 questions. It's gonna be only 2 questions on the empirical strategy and assignments. Make sure to address all parts of the questions. Graders will ask you to record the empirical strategy of the 2 empirical assignments for the class so far and their justification. Grade will not ask you to remember specific statistics from the empirical exercise or Stata coding. This is going to be based on like Stata coding. So one of them is time series, testing the permanent income hypothesis. Oh, they actually give us questions, so 2 of them. One is time series and testing the permanent income hypothesis. I know that one. That's the homework I'm doing right now, so that's good. The other one is panel data, replicating Blue Crosses. This is the panel data, which I actually did not do great. I got 90% out of it, but it's basically, like about the industries and PMR and how they affect the GDP and etc. I think that's all I have for today, and I hope that I will pass. I did not read, so I'm going to be studying today to see. Instructions in the provided Blue books. Answer questions in each of the following 3 sections. Clearly label which question and part you are answering. Points will be evenly distributed across each part of the question. 10 points for each part. Each part is intended to roughly be answered in 1 paragraph with some variation by focusing on the main concepts and themes without requiring specific equations, derivations, or statistics. We clearly remember that if I can't read it, it might be wrong. Students are recommended to take time to outline their answer on scratch paper to avoid frequent rewriting or reordering. So this is a new ways of testing. Like, it's not like high school, undergrad, where you have to like answer some questions, and so it's pretty good. I will see how it goes. But today I'm not in the mood. I think I'm gonna go to bed and sleep, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go hiking in the morning, and then after the hike I'm gonna come back home and then sleep again, and then once that's gonna give me like enough exercise, enough mood, enough energy. Then on Monday I'm gonna show up and pretty much just do the midterm. I should be able to finish this midterm within like 5 minutes, so it's not gonna be too much. I'm just gonna write everything he asked for. I need to remember the graphs. Graphs are key here, demonstrating some answers in the form of the graph. What else do I need? So like the Sodom model, for example, I talked about the Sodom model before, where the output and the investments, you have Y, the output, and you have the capital, and then you have the technology and the capital. If you invest technology and the capital, then you do investments and savings. You go to savings, multiply by the capital, and then you know, we in addition with whatever deflation, when you draw the graph, that's when you get the steady state. So like that, those things, that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna be looking at this, so you can see here all of this. So anyway, that's all for today. Like always, thanks for watching. See you. Bye bye.